you need to be building trust online. And okay, we hit a problem straight away. It is harder to build trust online than it is to build trust offline. However, even though it's a bit of a slow burn to build trust online, it doesn't have to be difficult. In fact, it can be quite rewarding, both from the perspective of the relationship and the in-depth nature of the relationship that you can build, and also the monetary reward of focusing on building a long-term trusting relationship with a consumer. Unfortunately, most people completely fail at the entire trust building process. But that doesn't have to be the case for you, because building trust is actually relatively easy. All you have to do to build trust is to add value and show up consistently. And most importantly, while you're adding value, while you're educating, while you're showing up consistently, to be taking people from a problem that they have and connecting them to a solution that they need. That's all you need to do to build trust. The difficulty is it takes a little bit longer and people don't stick with that process and they end up wasting all of the effort that they put into building that relationship in the first place. So how do you actually go about it? How do you actually go about putting all of these pieces together to build a trusting relationship? Well, step one is the hardest step that you need to take, because step one is all about getting to know your customer really, really well. And by really well, I mean you need to know everything about what their fears are, what their concerns are, and what their problems are right now. Because we want to take that problem and we want to connect it to your solution. So if you know what's keeping them up at night, you can add value by helping them quantify that, helping them understand that, and moving them through their awareness levels. So this is where a little bit of psychology comes in and gets blended with a little bit of marketing. When we are making a decision, we go through various different stages and we need information to be satisfied at each one of those stages before we'll make the right decision. And of course, you want that decision to be you. And what Eugene Schwartz did all the way back when is he said we have these various different stages of awareness that we go through when we discover that we have a problem in order to be happy to purchase from somebody. And the whole journey starts way before someone realizes that they have a problem, because there is a point that we are at sometimes as consumers where we are totally unaware of the fact that there is a problem upcoming and that there are problems and services, products and services that we can utilize. So he said this all starts with most unaware. That is the first stage. The second stage is when you become problem aware. So an issue, a problem, a concern happens and suddenly you realize, uh-oh, I've got something that I need to be doing because I have this problem and I don't really know what's going on. And when you reach the problem aware stage, this is a research point where you go off and you look for lots of information. And once you have quantified your problem and you understand your problem that little bit better, then we move into the solution awareness stage. And when you become solution aware, you kind of have an idea, okay, this is my problem, I know what it is, but oh look, there's things out there that will help me solve my problem. And when you're in the solution awareness stage, you then start to move into the product awareness stage, which is where you've quantified what kind of solution is the right thing for you. And you start figuring out, okay, this is not appropriate, that's the thing that I want. And after you become product aware, you start to get to the point where you're actually just choosing between different businesses or different products and services to utilize. And that's the stage that we call most aware. So to build trust, and to build that relationship with people, you need to be adding value by moving people through these stages. You are an expert. You know how to connect people from that problem, that thing that they're facing right now, all the way through to that solution at the end of that awareness stage. Now, if you show up consistently, if you add value, if you educate and you move them through each step and you preempt their questions and you are holding their hand, they are most likely to buy from your company because you have built a relationship with them when other people haven't. There's a little bit more that goes into that as well. Within each of the stages, there's a little bit of mindset that you can work on. There's an outcome that you need to be aware of. And when you're working through what the mindset is and what the outcome is for each of those stages, you start to get to the point where you know what content you need to create and you know how you need to structure that process. So if that's something that you really want to get into, and I suggest it is something that you get into, then we have a playbook for you which you can download. It's a nice little free resource that you can really get into the nitty-gritty of how your customers are thinking. And as usual, at this point in time, we are offering free marketing therapy sessions. If you want to chat through some of this, if you're struggling to build trust online, we're very happy to sit down with you and have a free session and just help you understand how you can get through this point in time. Every little helps, right? We've also put together a massive set of resources that you can go into. There's videos in there, there's downloads in there, there's action sheets, there's worksheets, there's you name it, there's even some webinars in there that you can get access to just to help you get into this time period and get really clear on what it is that you are doing. So I'd love to know where your customers are in their awareness journey, where you're most interested in your customers and what you're going to be doing to adapting your processes right now to build more trust online. So let's inspire action. Chuck that in the comments below, and I'd be really, really interested to see what you're up to. Stay safe and keep engaging your audiences.